What's good, YouTube? It's Charles, the face of Trade Tables, and we are back with another Rogue Deck Tuesday, and this one is Christmas edition. Today, we're going to be testing a deck, a new Rogue deck, featuring a very special card, Santa Claus. Alright, so hopefully we're going to go ahead and head out to Gilded Drake Gaming, have some few matches, and I'll show you guys the deck profile once the tournament is done. See you there. Alright, so I gotta stop at Wild Things Games real quick here. Actually try and pick up my copies of Santa Claus because I don't have any right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get up in here and try and grab the cards. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. We have our 3 copies of Santa Claus, which we will be putting in our deck for tournament today. So let's get back on the road and head down to Gilded Drake Games.
I don't have the option, it just does it. And same thing with this one, the monster effect.
Okay.
And they boost them up each individually. This one by 800 and the other by 400, I believe.
That spell card, technically, that's the one that counters the spells.
Activate blessing.
This one, yeah.
The special.
So, how many cards? 5. Alright, so 1 to 5. Let's go this way. 6 reroll. 1.
Activate analyzing.
Manage.
If you control a monster,
And manage to face up.
As you see, that is one of the cards that I just drew into.
Negate your graveyard.
As you can see.
So the question is, do we push? Do we push? Do we push? I think.
Yeah, okay. This is a really nice map, though. Okay, there you go.
Alright, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with the deck of the week. If you saw, because I know I didn't announce it in the very beginning, I was playing Evil Heroes, starring the card Santa Claus. We actually had a pretty small local, like 6 people, but deck still played well. Got 2nd place, so not even gonna complain. Only loss being to Naturia. It was like a Naturia Ishizu deck. So, but even then, like I gave the deck a pretty hard time, and the blind 2nd play with this deck is actually really strong. So, without further ado, Evil Hero, Santa Claus Evil Hero deck profile. We're gonna go ahead and get started with. So starting off, of course, these starter cards of the day, because it's the holiday season, we played 3 Santa Claus. Alright, so the gimmick of playing Santa Claus with this deck is that you put Santa Claus on their board, clearing a monster, and then you could potentially super poly it away with an evil hero to make a monster on the board. And then also you can also do it with a elemental hero as well, because it is a light. So that is the gist of it. But yeah, for the most part, it's just being able to summon it, clear a monster for free off the board, and then super poly. All right. Next we have Nibiru. We did play 3 Nibiru. These were legitimately the only interruptive hand trap style cards that we had for your opponent's turn 1. It was just the 3 Nibiru. Otherwise, it was more board breakers than anything with this deck today. So that was pretty good. So now on to our hero engine. Okay, so we played 3 Evil Hero Dust of Gold. You need this at 3 because there are multiple multiple Dark Fusion search that you need for the deck. So 3 is absolutely essential for playing it. This particular variant, you want to be able to get to Dark Calling, you want to be able to get to Dark Fusion, or the Castle, either or. So you definitely want to play 3. You want that consistency. You want to see those cards immediately in the game every single time. From there, we played 3 Stratos, Elemental Hero Stratos. This card is absolutely needed because it searches you your Dust of Gold. This is more consistency. You got to get to a Dust of Gold as soon as possible. That's the whole point of this deck, is getting to a Dust of Gold. So this also searches your Dust of Gold, as well as the next card, which is Ferris, Vision Hero Ferris. The Ferris combo is essentially needed so that you can also still get to a Dust of Gold by dumping Shadow Mist. All right, and not to mention dumping Shadow Mist. We play 2 Vion. All right, that helps you dump Shadow Mist. It gets to Poly, and then we also play 2 Shadow Mist, which was another way to get to a Dust of Gold primarily. Also, you know, the usual getting the mass change. And then our 1-ups, we played 1 Evil Hero Sinister Necrom, 1 Evil Hero Malicious Edge, and of course the 1 increase. I only played 1. I think with the small count decks like this, I think 1 increase is the best choice. You want to lower your odds of seeing the card, so I think 1 increase is best. That's it. So on to the spells. We can get through this pretty quickly. We played 3 Super Polymerization, which is actually super key for this deck. You want to play 3. This specific build, being a board breaker build, you're summoning Nibiru tokens on the opponent's board. Nibiru tokens on the opponent's board. You're summoning Santa Claus on the opponent's board. You want to be able to like potentially fuse those cards away and make your Evil Hero monsters. Primarily, the Evil Hero monsters is what you're shooting for, but like you want to hope to open, you know, this card so that you can make Evil Hero fusion plays and on the big rocks and OTK your opponent and stuff like that. So we played 3 Droplet, another board breaker card. So like I said, this is primarily what we did, was just board breakers. We blind second into boards and board break. So Super Poly, Droplet, Nibiru, all of that stuff was just to break boards and prevent our opponent from establishing board, which played actually pretty well. So I'm definitely not against continuing playing that for rogue decks or other strategies that's outside of the meta. I think board breakers are super strong right now. So, but yeah, for Rain Droplets, great card. All right, and then from there, 3 A Hero Lives. You want the consistency. Get to that Stratos. Get to that Shadow Mist. Those cards that's needed. So, of course, 3 Hero Lives. This is where a thing takes a little twist. We only play 2 E-Call. Big reason why is that Stratos is probably about the only one, unless we already had Stratos, then we'll get a Shadow Mist, and then Shadow Mist to get, and then summon Stratos to get Ferris. So the E-Call wasn't hugely needed. It was just kind of a help, like space filler consistency thing. So yeah, we didn't need the E-Call. We also played the 1 Rhoda, and that's why I think 2 E-Call was fine. 2 E-Call, 1 Rhoda, that's basically 3 Rhoda. So I think that was all that was absolutely needed. For the important search cards for the Evil Hero engine, 1 Dark Fusion, 1 Dark Calling. I actually do have an Ultra somewhere. It's floating around in one of my boxes. Couldn't find it, but I do have an Ultra. But 1 Dark Calling, 1 Dark Fusion, 1 Dark Calling, and then 1 Supreme King's Castle. This is the card that makes it so that you can summon the evil heroes without using Dark Fusion or Dark Calling. So this is why you want 3 a Dust of Gold, because you want to be able to, like, if you open Super Poly, you want to go for this card. If you don't open Super Poly, depending on what your hand looks like, it's this card or this card. So, like you want to have the options of getting to either one of them. And if you open one, you want the Dust of Gold to get to the other one. So, Like these three cards are actually super important. I may even up this. Like if I ever play this deck again and revise it, make some changes, I might put this at 2 because this was super strong all day long. Dark Calling was amazingly good all day long for me. So from there, the last 3 spell cards we played was 1 Mass Change, 1 Miracle Fusion, and 1 Polymerization. And that's just to extend or OTK the opponent, stuff like that. So this deck played really well, surprisingly, into some neat boards and was super strong. On to the extra deck real quick, which does need a little work, but I was kind of winging it. So 2 filler cards that we played, actually 3 filler cards that we played for Super Poly targets was Garua, Mud Dragon, and Starving Venom. Didn't summon either one of them all day long, but they were there just in case. So not necessarily needed, but still good targets to have. All right. Star card of the entire day, Malicious Bane. This card literally overperformed all day for me that day, clearing boards, winning games. It was like this card is so underrated. I think I would play 2 next time. Just because why not? Like I have a second one, so I'm thinking I might play 2 next time. But yeah, this card was amazing. Outside of that, we had Sunrise, of course, and then our only mask hero that we played was Dark Law. You cannot play a hero deck without Dark Law, so I think that was highly important. The other reason why Super Poly was super good in this deck was because of the high amount of Omni Hero targets. So 1 Escudero, 1 Absolute Zero, 1 Nova Master, and 1 Gaia. I actually forgot to put the Shining in. I left it at home. I put it in my desk, and it was supposed to be in this deck, but yeah, I kind of accidentally misplaced it. Yeah, that was my misplay. But at the same time, we still got through the day, and we still made it work. So other evil hero targets, we played 1 Dark Gaia and 1 Malicious Fiend. Didn't summon neither one of them during tournament, but I think for sure this one would for sure be very relevant. And playing a second, one of the reasons why I want to play a second Dark Calling, because it did come up if I was able to get a second Dark Calling to be able to summon this card. So I definitely want to be able to get to that again. And then for the links, we played Dirt Decimator. This card we shouldn't have played, but I had to hold a spot for the Shining. But there was literally no point of using this card at all. And then I won the driver. So the deck was really good. I mean, I'm an experienced hero player, so like playing in a rogue environment always gives me a pretty good advantage with playing heroes. But a few minor changes, like I said, this should have been a Shining. And then I probably should have played 1 more Dark Calling. Otherwise, deck was really solid. Had a good time. We got second place. I think matchups were we played against Naturia, Emancipators, and Mermels, and all 3 decks were basically combo spam decks that put up like either negates or hand interruptions, and ultimately it was just the fact that Nib and Santa Claus was able to control cards, and then the droplets to negate anything else that was relevant, and then OTK the opponent. So it was really solid. Had a good time. If you guys like this deck, give me a like in the on this video, please. Show me that you guys like the deck that we put out here. Comment below if you have any deck ideas for Rogue Deck Tuesdays for me. I will do my best to try and make a deck that you guys might be interested in seeing me play. Otherwise, I'll just keep this rolling, keep this content going, trying to keep this weekly as usual. This is Charles, the face of Trade Tables, signing out. Peace. Now that you've made it to the end of our video, don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter,
where we keep you updated on trade table games as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! News and updates.